Give us a sense of how the National Executive did monitor last Saturday's primaries across the nation. George.
Thank you. We had our national officers all over. We assigned each national officer to a constituency, and that's how we supervise the primaries nationwide in the
What were they supposed to be looking out for?
They were supposed to be in charge, making sure everything is done the right way, the way we wanted it to be done. And that's
did it go according to expectation, Barbara?
Yeah, it did.
End well?
Yeah, it did, and it ended very, very well. In fact, the people were so cooperative, and we didn't have any problems at all. For example, I went to Man East. When I went, I was a bit late. They had already started the process, and I was amazed when I got there. It was like nothing was happening except people who have come to enjoy themselves. And even after the election, everybody was jubilating, so you wouldn't even know who had lost the elections and those who had won. So it went very well.
George, did you monitor any place?
Yes, I coordinated all the 9 regions.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was at base coordinating, receiving information, sending information.
What was the nature of the info you were receiving?
Oh, find out how the primaries were going on in the various constituencies nationwide, in the 9 regions. Yeah.
Were there anything you consider significant out of last Saturday's primaries?
Nothing significant. The normal way, where delegates accepted contestants or aspirants accepted the delegates late and allow the process to take its own course. After that, those who were defeated conceded, and then those who won also, and those the defeated ones also pledged their support, total support for those who emerged, and those things. And there was nothing characterized. Talking of the primaries itself, I'm not talking about. I don't know. Some talking about the pre-primaries and the post-primaries.
Okay, so you are looking at the negative part of it. That nothing particular did happen. What about the positives? What were its major highlights? What would you say, Barbara?
Yeah, the major highlights, of course, will be the successful primaries that we've had, and I'm sure some people were expecting us to blood bath, and by now we would have heard a different story. Yesterday, somebody was saying that if some particular candidates had lost, the newspaper headlines would have been a different story. So it was very, very positive, and we are very happy so far with the process. So far, we haven't had any post-election complaints, and we hope that we wouldn't have to be running around settling disputes.
Let me still stay with you, Barbara. How have women felt in these races? And here I'm talking about both. I'm talking about the orphan constituencies, and I'm talking about constituencies where we have sitting MPs.
Yeah, my women, we haven't done too well, especially in the constituencies where NDC holds those constituencies that we have, especially the safe seats. I was expecting more women to take part in those safe seats, so that at least once we win the primaries, you are sure of coming to Parliament, so that we'll be able to increase our representation in Parliament. But it didn't happen like that. So far, we've had only 2 women emerging from safe seats. We had 2 women losing. One woman lost to another woman, so that wasn't a big deal. But we had 1 woman losing to a man. That is bad news for us, because we have already lost 1 seat already. So far, the safe seats, we have only 2 women, but all hope is not lost yet. We still have some of our new the constituencies that are going to be split, and Madame Ekua Dansoa and her colleague Azuma, they are still there, and we still hope that Azuma Mensah, Honorable Azuma Mensah, and we are going to hold the Greater Accra over the weekend. We have some women contesting. We are just hoping and praying that we will get at least some 5 more women to join, so that our presence will be felt.
Isn't that the women are not winning, or that they are not showing an interest?
No, actually, this time round, the women didn't really show up. The enthusiasm with which they came in during the orphan primaries, I was expecting more women to emerge. for the safe seat, but it didn't happen like that. We had very few women. The whole of Volta region, we had only 4 women contesting, and I was expecting.
That's incredible.
Yeah, you understand. I was expecting more women, and none of them was able to make it so far. We are just praying that those who go for the second round will be able to make it, and so it wasn't encouraging at all. And it was too late to encourage anybody to take part. So I hope that the party will take it as a policy and start working. Right from now, we wouldn't have to wait till it gets to 2 weeks to picking off nominations to go, and we must do a serious head hunting for women to participate in.
George, does that bother you that we aren't getting as many women participating and winning?
Unfortunately, the women are not supporting their fellow women. In Lower Manya, there was a woman who contested, and we have so many women delegates, and she had 0. So it's not the fault of the party. She was one of the candidates, and there were 3, 2 men and a woman, and the woman had 0. And we had so many women organizers in all the branches. They all voted. But at the end of the day, so this one, it's something that we cannot we the men cannot talk so much about.
You see, James, we are looking at a place where the stakes were so high. In Lower Manya, as you are aware, this was a deputy minister contesting against Almighty Tenya. The stakes were too high. You understand, the incumbent. So if a woman gets 0 there, you shouldn't use that as a yardstick, because everybody in the constituency was serious about it. They didn't want to miss the target.
Isn't George's point that when you have a situation where you have as many women delegates, or perhaps a lot more women delegates than men, and yet they don't vote for the woman, it means that they do not trust
you want them to vote for the men because the stakes were high?
That is not the issue. So we have 4 delegates coming from each branch, and amongst those 4 delegates, 1 woman. So even if all the women decided to vote for the woman, she wouldn't have won. And as I was saying,
but she did not get any. She
didn't get any at all because of the peculiar circumstances of that particular constituency. That's why I'm saying that it was a big issue. And when it comes to that, people don't want to give.
But is the party itself providing any incentive, motivation for women?
Yes.
What did we do for them?
I must admit that the party has been very, very supportive, especially the General Secretary, Honorable Johnson Esiedun Ketia. He encouraged women to take part, and he was the one who mooted for the idea that women should pay half of the filing fee. And it was accepted. 2,500.
And for the men?
For them, 5,000.
Okay, so it was half for women.
Yes,
that notwithstanding, they did not.
They didn't come forward. So that is why I'm saying that we need to do more. Because if we had, say, 30 women contesting, then maybe we would have come out with some 10 or if not 15.
Yeah, but the fact is, James,
yes,
the women are their own enemies.
Come on, don't come and say
the women, the men rather vote for the women.
That the one is not
the men rather vote for the women. Where the women have emerged, it's the men who made them win, not the women. The women rather voted against.
You see, I wouldn't want to agree with that statement, because politics has come to be viewed as a man's job.
Is it? But you're a woman.
That is why I'm saying that. So the few of us who are in it, you need to have guts to venture into politics. And so that is why I said that we need encouragement, more encouragement. It is not that...
Like how?
Like for some of us sitting here, encouraging our colleagues that it's not as bad as it looks. Even though we have some sort of opposition from the media or wherever, you still need to be tough. And
the media opposes women.
At times, some of the stories that come up is not encouraging. You know, women, we quickly recall into ourselves, especially when there are...
They throw things
you understand? And it's not even true. You understand? So those are some of the things that go against us.
You want to come in?
James, I don't want to comment because I have been in charge of this process. There are places where women at the vetting were against their fellow women, and we had to shut them down. The men rather were, yes, but I don't want to go in. This is not a platform, so let's see.
That maybe we just may have to.
Then they fight more than women fight. It's just because you don't say it.
Okay, George, let me come back to you. Are there any places where we still have primaries to come up?
Yeah.
Which are
Greater Accra with 17 that is coming out this weekend. And then we have Shama to coming out, Nadoli West coming out this weekend.
Why I know Greater Accra.
Greater Accra, yeah. Nadoli West, we put it on hold because there was a petition, and today we went through that petition, and then we arrived at So we disqualified the other. Yeah, the Shama too. Yes, we also disqualified the other contestants. So all acclamation. Shama and Nadoli West on Saturday is going to be acclamation. In Greater Accra, we have acclamation at Bonkatamanso, and then Domiabra Obom. They are going for acclamation, but the other ones, the 15 others, are going to be keenly contested. We have
your expectations. How do you expect it to go?
Oh, same as it happened last Saturday: free, fair, transparent, and peaceful.
But I'm sure that obviously some areas are high sales. I mean that people obviously will be following certain areas. It looks like the stakes have been raised in certain constituencies, given the level of competitiveness exhibited so far. I'm sure we can single out places like, say, Ododo Diodio, Ablekuma, Central, and a few others.
Yes, we've put certain things, and we've put all things, and making sure they have a delegates list, a credible delegates list. The aspirants are agreeing to the delegates list, and then the venue, and so many things. So those things have been sorted out, and comes Saturday, I'm sure everything will go on well.
Barbara?
Yeah, you know, as I've already said, we have taken steps to ensure that the system runs smoothly. That is why some of these constituencies were put on hold to resolve any outstanding issue. You know, Greater Accra was put on hold, the whole of Greater Accra, because we had issues with the delegates list. Okay. So we gave them 1 extra week to be able to sort out all these issues. Now that everything has been done and people have accepted the delegates list, we are hoping for nothing but a very peaceful and transparent elections. And once the process is transparent, whoever emerges, you know, there are intricacies in politics that you cannot run away from. You have to play the game and beat your opponents to it. Once we have done our bit and you allow your opponent to beat you to it, you don't have any issue. You go and learn and then come back again. So far as we are concerned, we have put in place a very transparent system, and we hope that it is going to be very, very peaceful.
How is the party going to ensure that after these successful primaries, we'll be able to bring together the winners, the losers, so that they can form formidable teams at the various constituencies and push ahead their agenda for the 2012 elections, George?
You know, we are one family. So once this contest is over, we'll all have to come back together.
But we've seen, I mean, primaries in other political parties where, as Barbara alluded to earlier, it's a bloodbath, actually. You find one party person chasing the other with either a cutlass, a cudgel, or something. But that's still one family. Yeah, but we saw lots of that
does not happen in our party. It does not happen during this primaries. So certainly, we're going to call all aspirants and those victorious winners as well, and then talk to them and ask all of them to join hands. Together we stand, divided we fall, so that we can forge ahead and fight that common battle. And come December 2012, victory will be ours.